Yeah, so my name is Stefan Meissner. I'm an artist based in Berlin, in Germany. I work a lot with adhesive tapes and foils as a medium, and this is one of the installations that I did for the exhibition. Well, tape art for me is, just any art created with adhesive materials. It could be tape, it could be foil, it could be stickers, anything that sticks really. And yeah, so you can do a lot with the medium. It's very, very good and easy to do a straight line, much easier compared to other media. So yeah, that's it for me. So the entire exhibition is a group show from the artist collective Tapethat. There's not one specific theme overall, but all the single installations and rooms have different themes. So there's, for example, one installation where you can vanish in the artwork and you can hide or you can stand out. This one, for example, is about the moiré effect. So if you have a grid that is overlaying, you get this interference and get a specific aesthetic. So each installation, each room has kind of its own approach. I think the size is one of the differences, so this is a bit bigger, I think. The production time was quite a lot shorter, so it was a bit more work in less time. But I think it's just some of the artworks we picked up again, but other than that, we also have lots of new installations and new rooms. So there's not a huge difference, but it's still a new exhibition. I was really looking forward to coming back to Taiwan because I really enjoy it here. I really liked the last time I was here. So even though we had to go through the 14 days of quarantine and 1 week of self-isolation, so to say, it feels great, It's lovely to be able to travel here, work on artworks and installations. It's awesome. I really enjoy it. I really like it. Well, I think for me, one of the favorite spots is the main entrance room right in the beginning. So there will be because it's the first time that I did a sculpture as well, and really looking forward to that. And it's lovely to see all the artworks that we created next to each other on the wall. Lots of these artworks were created during the quarantine. So it was something different, to produce art in this isolated situation, because usually when I work, I have a lot to do with other people, I go out, I get inspirations, but quite some of these artworks were done when you're only by yourself for 14 days in one room, so that was a different process for me. Good question. I am not sure. Well, I hope that it gets more and more attention, and that more and more people try themselves and start doing tape art and really see tape as a creative tool, right? So I can only speak for Germany because their tape is still more like a household tool, like an everyday helper. But it's really lovely to, try to create art out of it. So I hope, it's getting more and more popular, and yeah, that's it.
I'm Thomas Meissner, and I'm doing art with tape. So you're standing here in my room, and you can see it's black and white. And here I really like to play with geometric shapes, right? So here everything is triangles, and I try to create an illusion of space in this room. That's a good question. It's something that I do. I don't think we have a theme for the whole exhibition. It's just a bunch of installations that we like to do, and so I think one thing that many of these rooms have in common is that they like to play with perspective. We really like to take things into the third dimension and have people take different dimensions and see how that changes the artwork. But there is no real official theme to this. So yes, I mean, 2 years ago we were different artists, right? So we had time to develop as artists, and I think this also shows in the exhibition, right? So I think if you went to our first exhibition and our exhibition now, you will see that we have grown as artists. Our artworks are more refined, and I think the whole exhibition is more refined also. Also, the exhibition is a lot larger actually than last time, and we are fewer people, so it was quite a challenge to do this. Yeah, I mean, this time it's a bit weird, right? So we had to actually quarantine for 14 days. This was an interesting experience, let's just say it like that. No, but coming to Taiwan is great. I mean, we loved it here when we came the first time, and that's why we said we'll come again, even if we have to quarantine for 14 days. Everything here is so nice in Taipei, and here it's maybe even nicer, right? So if you're an artist and you're in this area, it's just beautiful. So I will exclude my own because yeah, those I have created by myself. Right across here you can see an anamorphosis that I've done together with my brother, and I think this one turned out really nicely. It's called an anamorphosis. It is a play with perspective. It is an installation that only makes sense from one specific perspective. If you move away just slightly, then the picture doesn't make sense anymore and it looks weird. But if you move into the right perspective, everything falls together. This I like quite a lot. Well, I hope so. I mean, that's part of the reason why we're here, right? We have this thing in our artist collective that's called Tape Art Around the World. And this is also kind of our mission, to spread tape art around the world and teach this to people. I mean, to this end, we're also doing workshops here in Kaohsiung. Yeah, and it's always nice to, you know, to teach people how to do tape art, and then maybe sometime they will become tape artists themselves.
Yes, my name is Tapethat, and I do tape art. And as you can see, I really like to work with colors and contrasts, not only with neon tapes, but also with adhesive foils and all kinds of tapes in all shapes and varieties. And yeah, one big influence was always like pop art, so I really like to play with those colorful and contrasted. To me, it's a way to express my creative freedom and what's like the creative thoughts that are going on in my mind just with an everyday object. So to take an everyday object out of its actual meaning and to get creative with it. That must not really be a tape, it can be anything that's laying around, but regarding the possibilities of working with tape, would it be straight lines or hard contrast and straight clean shapes? I really like to work with those in those styles, and that's why tape is like a perfect medium, and you can't really make any mistakes. If you don't like something, you just take it off again and put it somewhere else. And I really love to work that way, yeah. It's really intuitive. For personally, I would say creative freedom and explore the possibilities of doing art out of an everyday object. So it's also good to inspire other people, or to just show them what's possible and to help them like explore new creative boundaries, or just yeah, have fun in the exhibition. I think first of all it's bigger and the planning was really tight because of the current corona situation. It was hard to find a perfect slot, and then at some point it was like, okay, now it's possible that you can come. So everything had to go really fast. We didn't have as much time, But anyway, we even got more variety in this exhibition than last time, even though we had less time build up to tape at the exhibition. Yeah. It feels good to be back. Of course, it's a special situation, and it was a really interesting experience to go to quarantine for 14 days before the exhibition. And before I was a little scared of the quarantine or a little worried, but it turned out that this was for me actually a really creative break, to like just a break from everyday business, to calm down and just focus on art and on myself. So I did a lot of self-care, and a lot of artworks were done in quarantines. Yeah, we could really go ahead here at the exhibition. Oh, I think that's really hard to say, because it's so much variety, and each artist took a different view on the room around them, and also worked with different material. It's really hard to say which one is my favorite, because they're all so different. But of course I like this one, but I like the other blacklight room anyway. As I said, I really like colors and the contrast, so I also like the other room. But I'm also fascinated by the anamorphosis, where you stand in one certain point, and only from that point the whole the picture is whole. So I like to play around while experiencing the artwork. So sometimes I lay down and look up, or I check how it looks from a different perspective. So it's just cool to experience or explore all the artworks and all the installations. I hope that now that we have the second exhibition here in Taiwan, that we can even spread it more, and that people get really interested in it. I really hope people not only see it and like what they see, but also that they get inspired to even pick up a roll of tape and try it for themselves. So I think the more we can spread not only the term of tape art, but also the idea behind it, the better it is. And if people like it, they will tell their friends, their family. I see that there's a market here, so you have tape here in different sizes and different colors, and I hope that it develops fast and that there's a growing scene, and probably maybe soon a Taiwanese tape art exhibition, who knows, hopefully. And I just want to say thank you to Fun Design and everyone who helped building up the exhibition. It's crazy when we came here and we heard that all the walls and everything was built up in 2 days. And yeah, we are amazed and very thankful for the support. Yeah, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Stefan from Tapethat Collective from Berlin, and I'm doing tape art since 2011. My artworks are mostly based on my education as a graphic designer, so I try to use the language that I often see in screen or digital art and put it back into the real world. And I mostly work abstract, but I always try to provoke one's imagination, so you have some relation and you might see something in an abstract artwork that you know from your memory. Tape art for me has been always a way to go or to approach art in a very playful way. There's no mistakes you can do with tape art. There's a ton of different materials to play with, and it is very simple. And thus it's also very creative. And I think tape art is a very good way to get started, to be creative without worrying about making mistakes. I think the limitation that comes with using tape as a medium is also challenging, but on the same hand making you creative. So last time we've been to Taiwan, it was already like a theme park for us, like a big playground where we could realize all our ideas that we always wanted to do with tape. This goes especially for room installations, for interactive and immersive installations. So we wanted to do something where the people can actually play with and interact with and become a part of the artwork. That has been an idea in our creation since Tapethat exists, basically. And with this exhibition, we wanted to push the boundaries or push the limits of what we did the last time. So basically, everything we did in the last exhibition in Taipei, we did here again, but better and more immersive, more colorful, and more interactive. For us as artists in general, the pandemic has been quite a challenge, especially because we couldn't travel so much. Now, being in Taiwan feels amazing. It's really like that was a part that was really missing in my life, to go somewhere else and get creative in other countries. Regarding the pandemic and the quarantine, it was very challenging, but it was okay. And it was on the same hand challenging, but also you had a lot of time for yourself and you could try new ideas that you normally don't have time for. My personal, like the area that I did, I like the most the mirror rooms because they actually show pretty well what is possible with a medium. Tape is actually a very simple medium, but putting it into a room that is reflecting to all sides and using mirrors makes it so much more intricate and interesting to look at. So my favorites are the mirror rooms, but also the changing colors room, which I did, where the people are part of an acoustic and visual experience and can actually interact with the artwork by making a noise, which is super cool. I've always wanted to do that, and now it's there. I would, in general, give the advice, don't overthink it. Just go get somewhere a tape roll. It doesn't matter if it's a very expensive roll or a special color, and just get started. I sometimes use tape which is just black, and it's still my favorite. So you normally get from one idea to the next. So starting your first idea is the most important thing to get started, and the rest comes afterwards.
聚焦行动2.0是台湾的一个新尝试，基本上现在已经没有任何的展览公司愿意是以这样的一个新媒体所做创作的一个艺术展来做推广。那我们很荣幸在2020年曾经以聚焦行动来获得红点奖、A Design 以及 K Design 的一个国际大奖肯定。那我们希望透过这一次2.0的升级版，用更丰富、更多元的一个复合媒材来推广我们的一个艺术。所以这一次的聚焦行动2.0，我觉得在台湾上面不能说前所未有，因为我们2019已经做过一档，但是我相信后续我们还会再希望与这些德国的大男孩们一起来推广我们的一个新的艺术。那甚至于我们期待3.0、4.0、5.0，从实体可以进军到虚拟，然后让这个整体的一个展览更加的丰富、更加的有趣。
聚焦行动2.0，我们这一次更升级了，我们把更多新的创作媒材融入在一起。我们希望透过我们聚焦行动的展现，让大家看到有更多独特的创作媒材如何融入在一起，然后为台湾的展览这个产业能够有更多新的火花。